so much. Thank you for being here. We know it's Spain, it's hot, allergies also happening, so thank you so much for staying. I hope you enjoy this panel. As he said, we're going to talk about a little bit of a collective success versus individual success, though I don't feel like it's a versus situation, but we're going to explore that with our panelists, wonderful panelists here. I'm going to throw it back to you. We've had some introductions, but you all have amazing projects, amazing stories. So please, Lee, if you would like to kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm Lee Chambers from the UK, and I run an organisation that focuses on the skills of allyship and another organisation that focuses on inclusive wellbeing. A lot of my work focuses on how we can actually bring people together from different backgrounds to make better products and services, to make collaboration more effective. And that comes from my own background of building and exiting a tech business and some of the challenges I faced on that journey.
Great.
Yeah, hi folks. So my journey is I moved from India to Silicon Valley to work in tech. I'm a designer about 25 years ago, and I always felt like an outsider until one day I realized, wait a second, I'm the insider. I'm in Silicon Valley. I'm at HQ. I can share my ideas with power directly, but a lot of our colleagues around the world didn't have that access, and they had really great ideas as well. So most of my career over the last 20 years has been focused on inclusivity, collaboration, and co-creation with people who might not be sitting right next to you. And that's what brought me to be chief evangelist at Miro. I started using Miro very early in my career and loved that way of working.
Great. Well, I'm Ana Duran from InnoBooster. It's a private innovation agency, but I think I'm not here because of that, but because I'm writing a book about the truth and the consequences of the society that we are creating. So probably that's why I'm here. And it's a great honor to be part of this panel with you all and to share the thoughts with everyone. Thank you very much.
So just to begin, I do feel like, Lee, you've, throughout your career, have touched a lot on allyship in particular. What do you feel is the true impact of allyship, allies, in the success of collective communities?
Yeah, so I think sometimes we have to consider where the word allyship comes from. Some of you might have come across it in more recent times, some of you might be well versed in it, but the word itself can be traced back to the old French word alléguer, which means to unite, to combine, and to come together. So the whole root of the word allyship is anchored in the idea of collectivism, coming together to make things happen, coming together to solve challenges and problems, coming together to celebrate, and coming together to actually take the differences that we have and make things that serve outside of our community, wider systems, and actually changing the narrative of the world around us. For me, if I think about a lot of the work that I do, it's really getting people to think about the lived experience that other people have and how they can really bridge that experience to bring together different and diverse opinions to fundamentally make the world a better place. And if I think, why is allyship really fundamental to collective success? I used to be very individualistically driven as a tech founder, but I lost the ability to walk through illness, and all of a sudden, it was the collective support system around me that helped me to recover. And I realized that actually the collective power of many is so much more than the small power of few. And if we think about how that changed my perspective, it made me redefine what success was to me and how we move from the mindset of I through to the mindset of we. And actually, how are we going to make change and tackle some of the world's biggest problems? So, yeah, allyship plays a significant role in thinking about success beyond ourselves and thinking about the success that we can actually generate that's collaborative, that's, combined with other people.
But when thinking also about collaborative success, we cannot go past the fact that there are individuals also contributing their own ideas. How do we balance those individual collaborations with the team goal?
Yeah, I think it's always so important that there is an exercise to look at what the shared values are across a group, to appreciate that sometimes difference in shared values can bring valuable perspectives. And if knowledge is all clustered in one place, we won't be able to innovate. So it's about how do we create space to have those different perspectives listened to, and actively creating those psychologically safe spaces so that different opinions can be heard, different ideas can be prototyped and tested, and experiments can be made to actually see how we can take, a world that does sometimes value individual brilliance. But if you look at our society, it's actually when teams perform well together that we make valuable steps forward as a species. And also some of the smaller actions as well are so much and so often driven by teams. It's important that everyone can find a place to belong within those shared values and really bring their unique skills to that collaborative process.
Anything to add, Shipra, taking into account that you do work also for a huge platform, online platform where collaborativeness is essential? How do you balance this from your point of view?
Totally. I think just following up on what Lee said, great, really inspiring story, Lee, of how you changed your perspective. But it took 100,000 people to put the first man on the moon, right? We do big things when we work collectively. So I'll share a study that researchers at MIT did that exemplify the power of team collaboration and how little the individual matters. So stay with me. So researchers at MIT put participants in groups of 10, and each group had to find a way to survive on a deserted island, right? So they had a group of 10 items, and they had to figure out how they were going to survive. Some of these groups had experts. They had survival experts in them. Other groups were just normal people like you and me, right? Like we go to the grocery store and buy our groceries. We don't know how to survive. I don't know how to survive in the wild. What they found was the teams with the experts were not the teams that came up with the best, most innovative plans for survival. And when they went back and looked at the video recordings, what they found was the teams that had equality in conversational turn-taking, so the teams where everyone was able to share their ideas, and those ideas could be merged, and new ideas would come up, and the best ideas could bubble to the top. Those were the teams that came up with the most creative, the most innovative plans to survive. And it's not just MIT, it's study after study after study shows this, that when you can get a diverse set of collective group together, that you're more likely to come up with a winning idea.
Interesting. Didn't know about this MIT. I'll look it up. Anna, also for you, just the fact that you're writing a book on success, which everything moves so fast, it must be a challenge already. Just wondering, how do you feel looking towards the future that we're making our way in building a more resilient society through this collaborative, outlook?
My feeling is that we are evolving towards a more childish mentality society, which is a little dramatic, but not so bad. What I mean is that, for example, we are tending to overprotect a lot of minorities or communities, like, for example, the gay community. They need to have an enormous party just because this way they don't feel discriminated. Is it really the purpose? Is it really a need or something that really makes sense? With a party, will you really won't feel discriminated for your sexual orientation? Does it make sense? Or for example, the youth, the young people that don't work, do they really need that much help? They are in their best moment of their lives. They really need to take all the challenges. They really need to fight for it. So it's not that we have to carry them with your hand and making them happy with not so much effort, please. No, really, go for it and fight and really face your challenge. Women, oh my God, I'm a woman. This is terrible, right? This is horrible. Maybe I need I need the companies and the public entities and everywhere to reserve a place for me, just for me because I'm a woman, in the direction, please. Does it really make sense? This is such an old-fashioned way of thinking, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And people with disabilities, of course, we have to give them the structure in order to have a normal and really life, like live properly and work and everything, of course. But I knew a guy that had no arms and no legs. This little boy was, 7 years old, 10 years old, and he went to a shop. In this shop, he said, "Mommy, I love this toy. Please give me this toy. This is a wonderful toy. I really want it." Do you know where his mom said? "Okay, so Nick, work, earn your money, and buy this toy for yourself. You're old enough." He was a boy. "You're old enough to buy this toy." What do you think about this mom? Is she cruel? Probably she's giving, at this moment, the right challenge for this person to grow up and to face the challenge and to really be a resilient person, a powerful person. This is Nick Vujicic. I don't know if you know him. He's an internationally known speaker, and he speaks about self-awareness, self-esteem, and perseverance. So this is the way to help, really, the society to be resilient and robust, in my opinion.
Right, so to challenge.
To really face the challenges,
Okay.
not to overprotect.
Lee, from your own challenges, learning to walk again, changing your perspective on success, anything to add to that idea, also by bringing men into the conversation of other aspects of collaborative well-being. Could you add anything to what Anna was saying?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a place where our adversities, struggles, and the things that we have to overcome quite often provide more lessons and more self-understanding and more reflection on who we are, our unique skill sets, our unique abilities, than our successes do. I've found in my own journey, my own success, to not necessarily be a very good teacher, but my adversity has actually helped me to explore myself in many different ways. I agree with Anna in many ways that we actually need to embrace those challenges and create a world where we can test ourselves, we can experiment, we can actually start to find ourselves against sometimes the barriers that we face. But we must also consider that some groups face significant barriers in comparison to others, and that we should think about those individuals who start the race of life a lot further behind other people. And I'm very passionate about having people think about the things that they don't have to do, that other people might have to do. Because when we start to consider that other people might have significant challenges that reduce their opportunity to access certain things, reduce their potential to be well, actually that's when people can sometimes end up individualizing the struggles that people have. If I think about my journey to become a stay-at-home dad, I was challenged, I was called a loser. People said it was career suicide to do that. But it was within that environment, as the only father in a room, that I actually learnt an awful lot about myself, and I was challenged. But that challenge allowed me to actually see my gender as a man very differently, and really colours my work today to take other men to start to think about who they can be outside of what society says that men should be, because we are all unique and we can all find ways to express that and really tap into the person that we are, because I think our challenges sometimes can be unique to us, but we must also remember that certain groups in society have similar challenges, even though everyone in that group is unique. Because sometimes when we think about collective challenges, we might take, say, a group such as people with disabilities or women, and imagine they're all the same. No group is homogeneous. The diversity within a group of people is absolutely massive. But not to forget that as humans, we are the genetically genetically least diverse species in terms of our genes. So actually, as a collective species, we're actually the closest species genetically on this planet. So for all the differences we quite often see and quite often talk about, we are actually a lot closer than we sometimes think and have so many more things in common than we often see.
In the topic of challenges, this might just be me, but Shipra, how do we bridge the cultural and geographical challenges that come when we speak about collectiveness?
Yeah, I've been listening to this conversation, and kind of at Miro, I think a lot about how do you bring a team together that is diverse. And diverse can mean many, many things, right? Like, so it is, again, the research is clear, the more diverse the team, the better the outcomes. Diversity, we normally think of as like sexual orientation or gender diversity, but there's also other kinds of diversity. For instance, you might have geographical or cultural diversity, right? So people coming from different regions to build products. Again, products that have geocultural diversity tend to do better. The famous example here, if you all haven't seen this YouTube video, go find it. There was a little those water taps where you just put your hand in the sink and the water flows. One of the companies that created one of the first prototypes of it turned out that the tap only worked with white people getting water and not with darker skinned people, and that was just because they didn't have any testers that had dark skin anyhow. So there's a side project. But going back to how do you get a group of people that may be very diverse, come from different geos, different cultures, perhaps some are more junior, some are more senior, some have different abilities in terms of what they need in a work environment and different neuro abilities. How do you get these people together? And the answer is don't do voice meetings. Yeah, don't do voice meetings because only the VP or the hippo highest paid person in the room is going to speak. The answer is to allow for different modalities of input into any decision making. So voice is one of them. You can speak out, but you can write, you can sketch, give people space. In one of the surveys you see junior folks feel more comfortable giving feedback asynchronously to senior folks. So finding different modalities of getting feedback, giving people more space and time to provide their ideas is the best way. So of course at Miro we do a lot of writing your feedback in quiet sessions when everyone can think quietly, and then you come together as a group to sense make and make a mess of it. But you got to find time for brain writing, which is quiet, multimodal ways for people to provide input.
Nice. Going broader here, Anna, why are we even moving, you think, from these individual accomplishments from the collective success?
Why?
Yeah.
Probably because of the naivety of the initiatives, probably. Let's maybe try to explain that with a little story. Once upon a time, there was a man, a very good man, very, very good man full of goodness. He was great. He was walking on the fields. He was just walking on the forest or wherever you want to walk, like in the nature, whatever. And he suddenly found a pupa. Do you all know what's a pupa?
I don't.
Okay. A pupa is the case where the caterpillar goes into an adult butterfly.
Got it.
So it's like kind of protective case where all the metamorphosis goes on. Okay, so he found this pupa and saw that the adult butterfly was trying to escape, really, to open the pupa. was like trying really to open it, and he was like, oh my God, poor butterfly, he's ready to go. That's so bad. It's doing so much effort to open it, and it's so much pain. Poor butterfly. Okay, I'll try to open it a little bit to help her to go and fly. But you know what happened? If you open the pupa, the butterfly doesn't do the effort of really opening it, and then the blood that they have, it doesn't pump to the wings. So what happened? The caterpillar dies. You're trying to help in the best way. You're so great for her, but you're killing her. So the idea is, please don't kill the initiatives. Don't kill the genuine spirit of the nature and of the society. Let's free the efforts, really, of the people, not free the people from the efforts, let's say.
So the natural flow of things, what do you think would be in success?
To let the butterfly do its own process of metamorphosis until the end. And if it's painful, okay, go for it. You'll be a wonderful butterfly in the future.
Okay. So more, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, an individualistic point of view, right? To let the
Not
person
individualistic.
go first, maybe.
It's good that you you help someone, of course, but you need to challenge this person. It's not helping in a childish way. It's helping in a productive way, in a challenging way.
Okay. What do you feel? Why are we transitioning into collectiveness more and more so?
Yeah, so I mean, I think to Anna's point, I think supporting other people should start with asking those people what they actually need, rather than just trying to help from what you think that they need. Because that's how you end up, damaging the butterfly's opportunity, because you think the butterfly needs their case opening. But actually, if you ask, they'll probably say, no, this is part of my process. I need to do this. I think collectively, if I think about how organizations measure things, it's always when you go to your annual appraisal for your performance at work, it's very individual. You probably get a score, you probably get some things you could do better at, you might get some things you've done well. But actually, in the bigger scheme of things, any organization is a collective. And organizations can use their collective power to actually make change. But I do feel that we do live in a world that is hyper-personalized. Your set of programs that you will watch on your television nowadays on a streaming service, it's telling you what it thinks you're going to watch next. Your shopping basket's filled with things it predicts you're going to buy. We live in this world where everything is tailored to the individual, but the collective is increasingly important, because how do we actually start to change the world and tackle some of the wicked challenges we face as a society? And that actually starts, if we think about the shifts we have made, whether we're talking 20,000 years ago or 50 years ago, started with individuals' energy into a collective cause. And if we think about some of the things we do have, the conversations we do need to have, some of the challenges that we do need to face, it's very difficult to face big challenges alone. But actually, when you're in a room and able to come together with people, to learn from them, to listen to them, and to be included yourself, we start to get to a place where, if we think about the very world that we're built within, we are just a collection of atoms. And while that's a bit abstract, those atoms have bonds. It's those bonds and those relationships that actually keep us together as an organism. And if you link arms with other people, funnily enough, it's then very difficult to break through. Whereas a group of individuals, you could very easily get between them. So I think the collective shift of success does need to move beyond the individual, because fundamentally, success isn't always what we think it is or what we might be told it is. We need to work to redefine success for ourselves. And that's never just about one individual. It's never just about the I. It's so often about the we.
Great. Shipra?
Yeah, I mean, this conversation is reminding me of when I started my career in Silicon Valley. Like a single engineer could build something cool and launch it, and like it would make a lot of money. And today, you really can't do that. Like everything is a platform, everything is like interconnected, everything has APIs. You need like teams of teams. You need like 1,000 people to like build anything of substance that's going to be a real company. And like it's hard, isn't it? Because as humans, we work best in teams of 6 or 8, right? That's kind of like if you go back to your point about like we're animals and we're like kind of, if we go back to our genes, like that group of 6 or 8 can find a shared purpose and collaborate really easily. But when you have a group of 1,000 or 10,000 or let's say 100,000 people trying to send the astronaut to the moon, I think it's really about like you need to find that collective story, that collective purpose that team can like unite around. And this is what like a lot of CEOs try to do, and like many of them fail because they think their strategy is clear and the workers are like, well, we don't know what we're doing. So I think really it's about like finding that shared purpose and that shared meaning. And it's very hard to do something really big and really meaningful alone, right? It's really hard to do it alone. And I feel like this conference actually is like a great metaphor for this. Like there's so many people here who are really interested in innovation and sustainability and like really making a change and solving some of the big problems that we're facing. And it's like swarming to do something together for a bit, and then we'll all go back and take something back to our teams, hopefully. Yeah.
So takeaways for me, more or less, to learn to challenge, also learning to listen first, and to share a focus, a goal. Great. We only have, I'm going to say 2 minutes, although it's not 2 minutes. 2 minutes left. Just wondering really quickly, what does success mean to you personally?
So success to me means to wake up in the morning, loving the work that I do, loving the people I do it with, and loving the impact I can make with them.
Yeah, leaving a more equal world for my kids. That's what I'm striving for.
Yes, probably being able to make happy the people are surrounding you, right? In some way, in different ways, family, work, friends. Making people happy probably is the best for me.
Quite a challenge. All right, so thank you so much for sharing all your inputs. Thank you to the audience for being here and being part of this panel. I hope you've taken takeaways as well and that you've enjoyed it. Enjoy the afternoon. Hope you enjoy the day, and if you come tomorrow, the event as well. I've been Mariola. It's been a pleasure to moderate this discussion. Thank you so much.
Muy bien. Thank you so much. What can I say? That was collective.